So the brewing process, you know, in the Cape winelands, everybody knows how to make wine. And the main thing is that wine, you get grapes that is sweet, and if you add yeast, the yeast will work with that sweetness, that sugar, and convert it to alcohol, and you get wine. Beer is a bit different. Beer you work with what we call barley, and even wheat sometimes. Now, barley is starch, and you need to convert that to sugar. And that is the process. So this is the brew house, and in the brew house we do the conversion. It's where we take the malted barley and we put it through a process. We heat it up, we even boil it afterwards, and that is how we get the sugar out of the starch. And then we've got something sweet, which we can add yeast to, and if we add the yeast, then we get fermentation, and then it generates alcohol as well. And then you've got beer. Ooh. So that is the short version of how to make beer. Okay, we heat up the water. And then we pump it over to that side. This one here is what we call the mash tun. And you will see that inside we have what we call a false bottom. So, so the grain will sit on top of that so that we can get the liquid out. We don't want that grain to go out as well. So we put the hot water in here and the malted barley, and we do the conversion, and then we suck the liquid, which is called wort then, suck it out at the bottom, and we pump it into that tank, that side, and that is the boiler, okay? And then in the boiler we heat it up again, obviously to 100 degrees centigrade, so that we can boil it. And then in the boiling process is where we add hops. Many people think that to make beer out of hops, actually it's mostly grain, malted barley. I use 80 kilograms of malted barley in here, and only about 600 grams of hops.
And they come in at the end?
They come in the end. In the boiling process we add that, and that is for three reasons: to preserve the beer, to make it bitter, and to add flavor. Okay, so that's there. And then after that we cool it down, pump it over to this side through a chiller. But we cool it down because it's 100 degrees centigrade, and then we pump it into the fermenters, which we use food grade plastic, just because it's a financial thing. You know, a small brewery like this, I would love to have stainless steel tanks, maybe in the future. Here we add the yeast and it ferments. So what we do in this area here, you can feel it's about, well, it's supposed to be room temperature. So we ferment the ales here, because that is fermented at room temperature, like red wine, which we ferment at room temperature, and then the lagers we ferment in the cold room. If you look in there, you'll see two fermenters here as well, and it's a bit cooler in here. We ferment the lagers at about 10 degrees centigrade, so we do that in the cold room. After fermentation, we filter it lightly, just a light filter, to get any solids out if there are any, and then we pump it into what we call a bright beer tank. Okay, the bright beer tank, we start conditioning the beer. We add CO2 to the right level, and when that is done, again pump it out from in the kegs or in the bottles. From that bright beer tank, we pump it through the pipes to this side, hooked up the bottler to the CO2 bottle, and then under pressure we fill the bottles. Obviously beer got CO2 in it, so if you pump it over, it's already conditioned with the CO2 absorbed into the beer, but we need to keep that CO2 in the bottle. So we then, under pressure, we bottle it, and then it just comes out. The capper is on the other side, but we normally bring it here, and then we just cap the beer and put labels on, everything by hand. And this is just our quality control area where we keep samples of everything. If anything goes wrong, we can go back to our samples and try and verify what went wrong. And then next to there where you are standing now is our little warehouse. This is where the finished beer is put, you know, so we've got the kegs that's all ready to go out, and these are the boxes all ready to go out. And it's Saturday today. Normally we ship everything on a Friday, so we stock levels are pretty low at the moment. So next week's all over again, prepare beer, get things ready, and then by Thursday we will have a lot of stock. By Saturday again all will be out. And that's in short. I can maybe just show you here where we keep our hops and yeast, all nice and cold, all different types of yeast that we use We're making 4 beers, 4 different types of yeast, 4 different grain profiles, 4 different hop profiles. And when we taste the beer now, you will see that it is totally different. The 4 beer styles, the one to the other is totally different.